Hello YouTube, RJ. Today's video will be a little different as I'm taking you into the video production side of the channel. I was pushed to make a major change in how I edit videos for the channel, and I would like to show you what they were, how it may be they will improve the editing of the videos, and what it was that made me make this change. When I started this channel, I needed editing software, so I purchased Pinnacle Studio Ultimate. I spent a decent amount of time learning to edit with it. I've been able to use it to do all the videos you've seen up to this day. But to say it's been difficult to create the videos using it would be an understatement. Let me show you Pinnacle Studio and explain. I'm going to open up a project in Pinnacle Studio. I've created a demo project for this purpose. I'm going to show you how this works, or how it's supposed to. I imported two old video clips from two different cameras on the same scene. I need to edit the two cameras into one multi-cam clip, so I have to use their multi-cam edit tool. So that's down here. So let's open it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these cameras in. So let's go put this one in as camera. Oops, see what it did? Put this camera in with one, and we're going to try to put this camera in two, and we're going to say, okay. And it's going to open them up. And to edit them into a single clip, what I do is I go up here and decide which camera I'm going to start with. You can see the two videos down here. First thing is I've got to choose which audio I'm going to use. I'm going to use camera 2 audio. And then what I'm going to do is decide how I'm going to sync them. Okay. Well, if I needed to sync them, I could do it by audio or such, but because these cameras were triggered on the same recording system, they're perfectly synced now. If I use my other cameras, I have to do a syncing process, but we won't go into that. So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose which camera I want to start with. I'm going to choose this camera, and you'll see it come up with the main window over here. And so I start playing. Now, I can click the other cam when I want to change camera. So let's just let it go a little bit. Get me wires out to do the procedures I want. If I want to switch, what I do is click this camera here. So I'm going to switch now. Pins 1, 2, and 4. And you see it changed over in the main. I now see that's what I'm doing. And down here you'll see it's marked. It went from 1, it's put a 2 on this side to show me I've switched. And it's keeping. So it's turned the audio down here. It's keeping this information so it knows how to put this together when I get done. So we go along and say that we want to change back to this camera. We click on this camera. Notice that it hasn't changed. Let me click it again. Okay, now it changed. Sometimes it can be a little buggy. So let's say that I'm going along and I decide, I didn't really want to make that change. I go over and I pause the video and I drag this timeline back here. And if I go here and I say, okay, I went from 2 to 1, let's not do that. Let me choose 2 again to tell it to stay on 2. Click it. I got to remember to go click this again to make sure it wipes out the number 1 here and stays on that camera. So I figured that glitch out, and I get around that okay. But what you run into with this is a number of things. One, I can stop and jump ahead anywhere I want. Let's say I don't want to watch all this. I know I want to stay on that camera all the way to here. I go here, and now I want to change the camera I'm looking at. And I switch. That's great. I do this all the way through. Now here's what happens. Normally when I'm doing this on a long video clip, it's going to crash. This software will be completely locked up. I won't be able to get out of it or do anything. I'll have to reboot my machine. Now if I'm lucky, what will happen is when I come back in, it will have saved and I haven't lost much. I've only lost like very, very little bit of my work that I've done. Also notice that when I'm playing this and I decide I'm going to stop and I'm going to scrub, if you notice the two camera views, they don't update. I can only tell where I'm at in the one. I don't know what the other camera looks like. I have no way to tell what the other camera looks at to know that maybe that's when I want to switch. So I just have to look at this camera and decide, well, it's probably looking the way I want it about now. That's in my opinion, a poor design. Not the most friendly software, but as you go along, when I get all done with this and I hit OK, and it's going to turn around and make a multicam clip. That seemed okay. Again, it normally crashes numerous times while I'm doing this. This little quick edit with a couple edits is not going to cause the problem. So now what I do is instead of using these independent clips, I drag the multicam clip down. And you will see, if we run through, that there's camera changes in here. See, it switched right there. But here's something I want to show you. And this could be me not being better with the software, but the fact is, it's all tedious anyway. The way it works is tedious. But let's say that I decided I didn't want to switch right there. I wanted to go a little bit farther before I switched. I can't edit this. What I have to do is go back and recreate a new one of these through the same process. So your stuff's baked into this timeline, or at least my understanding. Did you just notice that disappeared? I did absolutely nothing. It just disappeared. I assure you, if you watch, I'll make sure I've cut to where the camera in my hands. I did nothing. Where it went, I don't know. I have no idea where it went. This is what I deal with this software. This is what takes me so much time to get these videos edited. And this, my friends, are the reason that I've decided that I had to make a big change. That's just a few of the things that I run into with this software. Even this part of the software crashes. The money that I spent like $140 on this software. It's not lived up. It's just not a solid piece of software. Now, that's not the only thing that pushed me to do this. The other thing that pushed me to do this is that this company, I was waiting for them to fix the software and get better. Because everybody else complains about these things. It's not just me and my system. No other software on my computer hangs up or gives me problems. I'm waiting for them to update it. And the problem is they're just not fixing anything. And then I find out they sold to another company who's doing nothing with the software. So I can't expect these fixes to come out. So there's no reason to sit here and fight with this any longer. So because of that, I decided to change. And what I did was I have made the move to DaVinci Resolve Studio. Now there's DaVinci Resolve, that's the free version. DaVinci Resolve Studio is the paid for one. And we'll talk about why I paid for it instead of using the free in a little bit. So I'm going to open it up. So you can see I've got a new piece of hardware to help me with this editing. When I decided to pay for a license instead of just using the free version of DaVinci, I noticed that if I order the speed editor tool here, I'd get a license included. Since it was only $100 more, I went that route, and I'm so glad that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a DaVinci demo project that I created, just like the other one. I've got let's get rid of this. I've got the same two clips in it, and we're going to do the same in this software. What I can do is just select these two clips and then go up and select the sync tool and tell it I want to sync by audio and click on the audio sync. And it's not going to take long. It's going to run through and sync them. Okay, they're synced now. You notice there's nothing showing here. That's because this one started just a little bit after this camera. So I can scrub and make sure that they are indeed in sync. And if you watch closely, you'll see they are in sync. They're synced up dead on the money. So now what I'm going to do, they're synced. I'm going to decide which one of these cameras I want to use. And that's going to be based on which audio I want. I want audio with camera 2, so it's going to be my primary camera. So I'm going to save my sync. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the sync bin. And the nice thing is there's a button down here to get to it right on my little device. But I already had the mouse in my hand, so I'm doing that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on 2. And I'm going to reach on my pad here and hit Smart Insert. And it's going to put the video clip in the timeline. So I'm going to turn scroll on. I'm going to run back to the beginning of this video. You'll see the whole clip is in there for Cam 2. There's some other things. There's buttons I can do to go all the way back. I was just showing you. And I've got this great tool to move around. You see how fast I can move? That's when I'm in scroll mode. When I go to jog, it's a much more precise. I can move it one frame at a time, which is fantastic. So now that I've got this clip in, I can go to the timeline, and here's what the actual video looks like. And let's say that I decide I want to do that same cut. Let me find a good spot to cut. Okay, let's say right here where the hand's going up, I'm pointing in the directions I want to cut over. I can pick the literal frame I want to go to, and what I can do is I can reach over here and push Cam 1 button on my keypad, on my speed editor I should say, and what I can do is turn this and paint that second camera in. I've got to hit sync bin, push Cam 1, and I can just paint in wherever I want. Now what you're seeing up there on the screen is both cams at the same time updating. I can see what they both look like at this point in time. And if you notice, the one on the left is the one that I'm painting down in the timeline. And so let's say that I get to here and I decide I want right here, I want to change. I let go of the Cam 1 button, and now if I go to the timeline, you'll see that I cut back at that very moment. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, I get the scroll to speed up. Look how fast I can move around. You can see that at the very point that I wanted to, I've cut over to my Cam 1. And the very point that I wanted to change, I dropped off. Now, one of the neat things is, way beyond what I could do with the other software, is let's say later, I want to make a change to this. I decided that I cut from that clip too early. I can go to that point, I can hit Cam 2 to select that, and if I push the roll button on my keypad, I can paint additional time of that camera and say, okay, I really wanted, or maybe I wanted less time. Maybe I wanted to cut earlier. I wanted to cut cameras earlier. Okay, I wanted to cut right here. If I let go of that button now, we roll back, we'll see that now I changed that camera. At any time during the process, I can edit any of these cuts. This is a tiny little fraction of what this will do. It's absolutely amazing what we can do in this camera. I hope you can see that this is a big improvement. There's so much improvement in this software, it's unreal. And the speed editor really makes things very fast and very easy to work with. Also, you know, you want to see what you're doing often, okay? So at any point in time, I can just hit the play button, it'll play. I hit stop, it'll stop. So I can say I want to cut. The other thing, you saw what I had to do to cut before. Let me show you what it takes to cut now. Let's say that I want to cut from, I want to get some time out. I don't want to waste time in here, okay? I'm just idle doing nothing, maybe, let's say. If I hit in right here, scroll to, say I scroll to here. If I hit out and hit ripple delete, it just, I'm done. That's it. That was what you saw me doing, all that click and mouse use and such in the old software. It's done. It's that quick. Videos. So anyway, let me tell you the biggest one though is this doesn't crash. I've had this software and played with it for a while now. I haven't really done, this is going to be the first video you will ever see edited in this software. There's a few videos already done that'll come out done under the old software before I pick back up with the new. But I have not had one crash or lost any work in this software the whole time. Everything is smooth as glass. When I make cuts, it doesn't instantly. I can do, let's do another cut real quick. Go in there, go out there, get ready, cut, I can hit play and it'll play instantly every time. I can roll back as fast as I want to, stop, hit play, and it'll play. Major improvement. You can see why I would need to change. No more reboots, no more losing work and having to redo stuff. No more crashes. With this change, I hope to be faster. I hope to spend less time on editing, which lets me spend time making better videos. The speed editor really makes it faster and easier to hit the frame you want and lets you jump around very quickly with less carpal tunnel aggravation. With the $140 I paid for the Pinnacle software, I wish I had went this way the first time. I spent $395 for the DaVinci Resolve Studio and the speed editor, and what a time saver it is. Since I'm not monetized and I'm unsponsored, it's very unlikely I will ever recover the money I spend on the channel, but it's an investment in my hobby and I'm enjoying learning to edit with a professional level of editor. I hope there was some part of this video you enjoyed, and if you have any comments or suggestions, as I always welcome them, I also welcome subs and likes. So I hope to see you in the next video.